Wow, it's good to be here at the beginning of the year. This whole possibility in front of us, chance for new beginnings. We get second chances, third chances. But if you think about it, every day is a new beginning. Every day is a new chance to get it right. If we've made mistakes, well, I've never made a mistake, so this doesn't apply to me. Uh, so I was thinking about this new year, and if we look, are we growing? Are we growing in insight, in love, and acceptance? Are we growing in possibilities to let go of old beliefs, maybe pick up some new ones? Or are we just growing old? Some are growing old, yes, I understand. But can we be growing also at the same time? Can we be expanding? Can we be listening to something within us that wants perhaps something more? And that something more is to live a more graceful and attuned life. When we think about life, oftentimes we think about it as the uphill journey. No, it's not an uphill journey, it's a downhill journey. Why would I say that? Well, when I let go of the brakes, the car just goes downhill easily, effortlessly. So who's pumping the brakes? Well, I am, because I'm resistant to the flow of life coming at me too quickly. I want to slow it down. I want to be in control. I don't trust life. Okay. So if you're not trusting life, who are you thinking to? I mean, who are you listening to? Are you listening to your thinking? Or are you listening to something within you, that quiet voice? We can call it intuition, spirit, God, Allah, the dazzling darkness, the great void. Whatever that is, if we're listening, something usually gives us a nudge this way or that way. Have you ever been, let's say, at a dinner party like I was a couple nights ago, and there were these great desserts, and I knew I had enough. And you hear it coming, and the hand went out, and intuition or whatever, guidance said, "You've had enough." I didn't listen. Ever started a relationship and you knew it wasn't quite right, but you did it anyway, and after 7 years of marriage, it was confirmed it wasn't the right thing, but I knew going in. And I've been in business deals where I knew that there was a red flag, and I did it anyway. Now, are these mistakes? Are they truly mistakes? Well, they are if we don't learn from them. Then it's a mistake. But if we've learned from them, let's flip that mistake to a learning opportunity, to something. This was a teaching, and this experience provided me with this teaching. So if we're going to listen to spirit or guidance, we're going to have to explore our customary dependency on thought. Our customary dependency on thought. Because we depend upon thought. We listen to our thoughts. We believe our thoughts. But are they accurate all the time? No. And you know that. If you've ever walked into a room and met somebody and went, "Oh boy, I do not like them. No, I do not like them," and they turned out to be great. That's never happened with me. So why don't we listen? We have this great opportunity. Well, it's pretty much simply habit. Think of a GPS. Had a car with a GPS in it. It was a damn accurate GPS, but it was a pain to use. You had to push in, type in the little, it was too much work. Much better to use my Susan's iPhone. And so I say, Susan, type, and she just speak into it. Well, we want to go to 4th Street on, and it's done, and we're off. Only problem is you could lose reception, the satellite could drop, it might send you on a weird route. It wasn't reliable all the time. But my old GPS, it was reliable all the time, but you had to wait for it. You had to wait for it to acquire the satellite and to lock in and all of that, but it was accurate. And that's kind of like listening to our own intuition. You have to stop. You have to go within. You have to actually look. And you have to fall into that gap where thinking isn't happening and you can actually feel what's coming through. Our bodies are antennas. The heart is the antenna for the inner world. And so when we listen, it's always there. It's immediate, always there. And if you've noticed, there is a quietness to it, a subtlety to it. It's never a demand. It's more of a whispering invitation. Come this way. Or maybe lean in this direction. What do you see? It's not telling us directly what to do. It's an invitation. And that's how you can tell the difference. That, for me, that voice or that feeling is up here. When there's a demand, it's down here. And if I can feel that difference, I'm breaking the trance of depending upon my thoughts. I'm breaking the trance of always being dependent. And once that trance is broken, we can go, okay, what voice is coming? Is it the voice of the beloved? Is it the voice of my angels? Is it the voice of whatever we want to call that voice? Or is it the voice of conditioning, which isn't bad? It's good to have it. Is it conditioning, and is it a smaller picture of what's going on? And that's all it is. My old GPS had a wider view of everything. Let's say Susan's iPhone has a much narrower viewpoint, and so it's not accurate all the time. So we're always going for the widest view, and that takes stopping. And actually, in Zen, they call it the 180 turn, where we're always looking out this way. We turn around and we look in this way, into where we feel. Certain decisions in life can be reached by thinking our way through them. The most important decisions we make are best made by feeling our way through them. Here's an example. See, when someone has made a big decision in life, they're probably going to say, they're probably less likely to say, I thought my way to the right thing to do, rather than I felt my way and it was the right thing to do. So you think about our biggest decisions. Do we feel our way through, or do we think our way through? I know for me, when I'm having a decision, it's I think, and I look, and I tire myself out, and I go, I'm just going to do it. And it's like the mind gets exhausted, and then we can settle. It's like, and when we settle and the decision is made, when we come from that place, it's usually a relaxation. It's like, everything relaxes. We drop. So Susan has this thing. When I met her, when we had a big decision, she said, I'll check my fingers. I don't know, maybe some of you have done that too, or used kinesiology. Yep. And what she'll do is she'll sit down and she'll put her hands on the table and she'll say, my name is Susan. Boop, and up pops the finger. And then she'll say, my name is Marilyn. Oop. So she calibrates her fingers. So now we're ready for the question. Okay, we haven't heard from the boys. It's 11 o'clock at night. Where are they? Are they safe? Oop. Oh, okay, they're safe. I don't have to worry, but she still will. But she also knows that her fingers are really, really, they're an accurate GPS. And so she can trust them. So the other day, and actually Friday, I was working on a faucet in the wall. It was a shower, and I had to turn everything off in this apartment building. I needed to do it quickly. And so pulled it out, looked at the valve. This valve is toast. Got to pull it out, go to the hardware store. As I'm walking out of the hardware store, something hits me and it says, do you have the wrench to install the little seat inside? No. And it was this conversation that came. It was like, wow, that's really cool. Thank you. No, I don't have that wrench. I went back into the hardware store, grabbed the wrench. I'm going to use this on Sunday. That was pretty good. And it gets better now. So now I'm at the car and I'm looking, and there's the two wrenches that I bought because you don't know which size is going to do this. So I check the wrench for the new part. This wrench fits in the new part. So I'm ready to go. I grab that wrench, and something inside me says, you probably ought to take two. Nah, I don't have to take two. I know it. I just checked it. It's going to be fine. This is a conversation. So I take the wrench up, go stick it in the wall. Nope, doesn't fit. This is a different unit than the one I'm installing. It's different size. So I go, okay, now that'll really preach. Because there it was, and I didn't listen. One time I listened, the next time I didn't. I'm going, what was the difference? What was the difference? Because I overrode my own guidance. I'm going, this is good. It's not a mistake. I'm learning from it. I'm learning that what's it going to cost me to pick up the other wrench? Why am I so sure? Am I always this way? Just listen and do it and stop arguing with it. So that was the lesson from that. And the key here is slowing it down. It's just slowing it down. Why am I such a hurry? Because I was in a hurry. I need to turn the water onto the whole building, and then just to slow it down and to go, take one more breath. Do I really need the second wrench? Is it going to cost me to bring the second wrench? What is all that about? Just shut up. Take the second wrench. When we listen to spirit, we break the trance of our customary dependence on thought. When we actually listen, in the listening process, we turn to a different part within us, within our inner landscape. Either we're thinking to our mind or we're feeling with something else, which is a different way of hearing. And that distinction is huge, So it's really, when we start to see this, it's a shift of focus. I'm either listening here or I'm feeling over here. I'm listening here or I'm feeling over here. And as I recognize that within me, I can start to feel the difference, and it starts to become very obvious. Because spirit does not belong to the mind. The mind lives in the spirit. We'll call spirit awareness. We'll call spirit the unknown. And we pay so much dependency on the mind that we think the mind is running the show. You know, If the mind is running the show, then what's your next thought? Tell me what your next thought's going to be. You don't know what your next thought's going to be. You know, stop thinking. Oh, yeah, right. The mind is a wonderful tool, a fabulous tool. It's a great hammer for hammering nails. But there's a lot of other things in life that aren't nails, that we can use other qualities. So I'm thinking of it as the ocean and the wave. Think of ourselves as waves. I'm a Christopher wave. I'm waving at Randall. Randall's waving back. Of course, we're separate because we can see. Randall's over there, I'm over here. But as a wave, if the wave ever takes the time to look inside the wave, wow, as I look inside, I can see that there is no separation, that I am connected to Randall, but he is what the ocean is doing. He's Randalling over there. There he is, flapping away. And I'm Christophering over here. And it's what life is doing right now. So if we, from that analogy, we're all waving at each other, all coming from this oceanic existence. But do we take the time to look in? And when we take the time and listen, we're connecting with our oceanic pool of energy, of possibility, or whatever. But we tend to get stuck on names. So we're going to tell a little story of Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu means old master. And he was the sort of the founder of the Tao, of not the Tao, but of Taoism. When we think of the Tao really means just the way of nature, the way of life. And it really is, and then we talk about Wu Wei. Wu Wei is the natural movement of life. And I started out by saying life is kind of a downhill. And it is a downhill. It's a gentle, for the most part, downhill journey. And when we take off the brakes. And so Lao Tzu was a very accomplished philosopher, a teacher. He was the emperor's go-to guy. And he'd finally had enough of the politics and of the infighting and of all of the drama within the court. And he left. Boom, middle of the night, gone. Students, everything, took off, walked for weeks and weeks to get to the frontier. And at the frontier of the kingdom, he met an old friend at the gatekeeper. There's a gatekeeper there. And he recognized the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper was ecstatic to see Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu looks at him and goes, wow, I can see you have arrived. I can see the light in your eyes. And he says, thank you. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. And by the way, have you written down any of your teachings? And Lao Tzu said, no, I haven't. No one will listen. No one will get it. I got it. You got to write something down. Lao Tzu says, nope. And finally, after lots and lots of convincing, saying, you know, most people will not get it. They will laugh at this. This was just not in their wheelhouse at all. But there'll be those that will be so ripe and on the edge that it will take just a little bit and they'll get it. Write it for those people. And he agreed. And that night he took, his pen to the bamboo page and he wrote, the Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. The Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. And I love that. That's the very first stanza of the Tao Te Ching, which is small little verses. There's like 83 of them. So what does that mean? And how does that deal with? with any of this. Language is thinking. Language is not feeling. Language is thinking. Language is concepts. And so when we talk about God and spirit and this and that, we're talking about the menu, not the meal. And we confuse the menu when we try to eat the menu and we wonder why it's not satisfying. We're looking for the meal. The meal can be arrived at, and the place where the meal is served is on the inside. It's being quiet, listening, and allowing the meal to come to us. It's always there when we're quiet. And that guidance is always there, telling us to take the second wrench also. And when we listen, our life becomes that downhill journey that it was intended to be. Simple, easy. And so I just leave you with, what does all of this mean? When we listen inside, we shift our focus from thinking to feeling. And it's as simple as that. And in that movement, the trance is broken from our habitual dependency on thought. Let's take a breath. And let's honor our thinking. And let's honor for all of the good work it does. And to thank ourselves for all of the times we've listened. And in the next breath, let's honor that this is merely a tool. That the true master of the house is the inner one, is our inner consciousness, is our inner awareness, is our inner intuition. And so we honor that, and we vow to do a better job of listening, knowing that we get chance after chance after chance to simply go into presence, into being, and to simply listen to the voice and the energy that is always there, guiding us and moving us along in this fabulous life. For this, we are so grateful, and so it is.